Is 1 hour really enough to change the way fans view Jungkook? And why did his short reaction after BTS Live actually make millions of people speechless instead of cheering? An hour after BTS's live broadcast ended, the atmosphere felt different. There are no funny clips that go viral right away. There are no big statements. There are no sensational moments that used to fill the timeline. There is only silence, and oddly enough, the silence felt very strong when the BTS live screen went black and notifications stopped sounding. Many fans felt the same way. There was something left in the air, something not spoken, but it feels real. Jimin looks different, not because of the hairstyle, not because of the costumes, not even because the expression clearly changed. The difference is more subtle, deeper, and precisely because of that, many people feel that they cannot explain it. Jimin continued to smile, his tone remained soft. But there is a caution that is rarely seen. His eyes are not as bright as usual. His speech pauses are noticeably longer. As if something was being thought of, and at that moment, Jungkook reacted. Usually, Jungkook is the one who fills the space. That he carries energy. That he broke the ice. That he makes everything feel light. But this time it was different. After Jimin finished speaking, Jungkook fell silent. A few seconds longer than usual. He took a slow breath, then say one short sentence, not long, not dramatic, but it feels emotional, and after that, the mood changed. No laughter. No screaming. There is no euphoria. It's just a weird but warm feeling. A few minutes later, social media began to fill with questions. What happened to Jimin? Why does Jungkook sound like that? Are they okay? But unlike usual, the discussion this time felt slower. Be more careful, more mature. Many fans don't make theories right away, not immediately concluded, not immediately looking for sensations. Instead, they write messages of support, remind each other that idols are also human, that fatigue is real, that feeling is natural, and that's exactly where this moment feels special. The relationship between BTS and its fans is not an ordinary relationship. This is an emotional connection built over the years, through music, through life stories, through wounds and growth. Therefore, even small changes can feel big, not because of the drama, because of its meaning. Many have come back to remember how Jungkook often referred to Jimin as the one who gave him strength. As a resting place. As a friend who understands without many words. And maybe, in that moment, Jungkook was just doing his most sincere thing. Present. Shut up. Make room. In our culture, silence is often perceived as awkward. In fact, silence can also mean attention. It can mean caring. It can mean empathy, and maybe that's how millions of people felt at the time. No answer. There is no clarification, but everyone feels the same. The discussion slowly changed direction, from, what happened? How can we support them? And that's a beautiful change. This moment did not become big because of the scandal, not because of rumors, not because of controversy. This moment became great because of its frankness, because of its vulnerability, because of the silence. An hour after BTS went live, millions of people paused. They don't make a fuss, they don't scream, they chose to be silent together, and in that silence, there is empathy. There is concern, there is maturity. Perhaps we will never know what really happened. Maybe you don't need to know, because not everything has to be explained, not all feelings should be announced, and not all silence means empty. An hour ago, something did happen, not something sensational, not something controversial, but something human, and perhaps precisely because of this, this moment will be constantly remembered. As a reminder that behind the magnificent stage and the camera spotlight, there are people who are also tired, also think, also feel, and they deserve to be given space, and that silence doesn't go away immediately after the screen is turned off. Many fans admitted that they remained sitting in front of the phone, not immediately closing the application, not waiting for an announcement, not because I expected a follow-up broadcast, but because the atmosphere was hanging. It's as if there are emotions that haven't really finished. Some people write that they feel the same way when someone we care about looks fine, but our heart knows there is something he is keeping to himself. Such feelings do not cause panic. It makes you want to go slower. Be more careful, and perhaps, that's what millions of soldiers felt that night. A few hours later, Jimin's old posts began to reappear on his timeline, quotes about loving yourself, about the fear of disappointing others, about the pressure to keep getting better, not to find fault, not to dig up secrets, but as if to remind each other that Jimin is always honest about his fragile side, although he rarely shows it directly. And in the midst of it all, Jungkook remains the center of attention, not because he said much, precisely because he didn't say much, the silence felt like an unwritten message. Not everything needs to be answered with words, sometimes just being present is enough. Many began to say the same thing: maybe we don't need to know everything. Maybe we just need to be there. Maybe we just need support. And those sentences feel much more powerful than any theory. This moment slowly changed the way fans saw their idol, not just as a figure on stage, but as a human being who is also tired, also doubts, is also growing, not with drama, not with a big confession, but with one honest little pause. And perhaps, precisely because of this moment seems rare in a fast-paced world. Versatile, Serbo wants to know. There is an hour in which millions of people choose to be silent, choose not to be urgent, choose to honor. No one knows if Jimin will ever talk about it. No one knows if Jungkook will explain his reaction, and maybe it's not necessary, because one thing is clear: the silence is not empty. It's full of meaning. It's full of empathy. He's caring, and it leaves traces that are not easy to forget, and the trail continues to be felt, even when the day has changed. Some fans say they bring that feeling into their daily activities, when working, while studying, alone in the room. It was like a little reminder that everyone, even those who look the strongest, still have hard days. Many began to write about themselves, about fatigue rarely talked about the pressure to always look good, and about how important it is to have someone who understands, albeit without many words. And that's where this moment extends. It's no longer just about Jimin and Jungkook. It's about people and their feelings. Some pop culture observers began to write that this moment reflected a new phase of BTS. It's no longer about proof. It's no longer about records and numbers. It's about maturity, about limits, about meaning. BTS looks like a group that is no longer afraid to be silent, not afraid to look human, not afraid to make room for emotions that are not ready to be explained, and it makes them feel closer. There is one interesting thing that many people are aware of: usually, the big moment comes with a bang, with cheers, with emotional outbursts, but this time, the loudest was silence, the silence that makes people stop for a moment, silence that makes people listen, the silence that makes people feel. And that's probably his biggest message, that not all important things come with an announcement, not all changes come with a spotlight, not all feelings need to be titled. Sometimes, one small pause is enough to change the way we see things, and that 1 hour will continue to be remembered, not as a mystery to be solved, but as a human moment that touches millions of hearts at the same time, because in the end, what remains is not a question. What remains is taste, and the taste doesn't just go away. He stayed, slow down, calm down, like a small echo that keeps repeating in the minds of many people. Some army wrote that they just realized how important the presence of someone who does not force us to always be strong, someone who is not in a hurry to give a solution, someone who just sits next to us, and lets us breathe. And at that moment, many saw Jungkook not only as an idol, but as a friend. As a figure who understands the meaning of present in its simplest form. This moment also slowly changed the way many people looked at Jimin, not just as a performer who is always perfect, but as someone who is growing, who is thinking about the direction of his life, which is in process. No drama, there is no great confession, just an honest little pause, and precisely because of that, it feels so human. In a world that demands speed, this moment invites us to slow down, not to judge right away, not to guess right away. To not immediately demand an answer.